Hello, this is George. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the Data Magician to create the data that we need to insert into Murray's CopperInterMarket system. The only time you need to use the Data Magician is if you've got different delayed data, meaning that maybe you have real-time copper, but you've got delayed NAK data, or you've got different delays. You could have one delayed 5 minutes and one delayed 15 minutes, and in that case you have to use the Data Magician to import the data into a single chart. If you don't, you'll get that error message, cannot mix delays. So the first thing we need to do is create a folder on the C drive. In this case, I'm going to call it Data Magic. Now you can call this anything you like, just have to be consistent. So let's go over to my C drive. Let's create a folder. We're going to call it Data Magic. Make sure you spell everything properly. Data Magic. And let's see, there should be nothing in it, and there's not. So we'll go back, shrink that down. Second thing we need to do is create a workspace that will be the source of the data. Okay, I've already created a workspace, Data Magic. The only thing I did, I went to New, and I went to Workspace. And it popped up, and I saved it as Data Magic. Now, Murray's CopperInterMarket system needs the NAK data and the DGP data. So let's go ahead and create those charts. We don't want 5 minute, we want daily. So I'm going to change that back to daily. And the default will be 2 years, and that will be sufficient for this example. So 2 years back, daily, DGP. The other market that we will need is the NAK data. The DGP is the DB Gold Double Long ETN. So let's go ahead and create the NAK data. Format symbol. NAK, make it daily. It will default to 2 years. That's fine. That's what we need. There we go. Now I'm going to arrange these horizontally. NAK, DGP. Let's go ahead and insert the next thing on the agenda is to apply the Data Magician. So let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully you've already imported that into your library. So it's an indicator, and it's called TS Data Magician. So you want to go down to the T's. Okay. It will usually bring this up. I think it defaults to be formatted once you first insert it. The file path, as you can see, is not pointing to our Data Magic folder. It's actually pointing to the default, which is a TS ASCII. Let's go ahead and change that to Data Magic. Let's make sure we spell this right. This is very important here, because if it does not find this folder, it will kick out an error message. So you got to make sure you put the horse before the cart. You create the folder on the C drive. We want to write history, which means all the way back to wherever the chart starts. You want a line for each day of data. If the data is updated, you want it to be written real time. We don't need a separator such as a comma or a tab. We just need a format that can be re-imported into TradeStation. When it's done, it will play the cork pop sound, so it'll let you know that the Data Magician is done. So let's go ahead and click OK. Keep your fingers crossed. And it's think about it, it's writing 2 years of history in an ASCII format to that C drive. So it's not going to be super fast, but it shouldn't take too long. Okay, you probably heard the cork pop. And also, what's really cool is the TS Data Magician will tell you that it is at work. It's working right now. So let's go ahead and apply the Data Magician to this DGP chart indicator. We can go Data Magician. Okay. Again, it defaults to whatever, when I programmed it, whatever I put into the input. You can set that as the default later if you like by hitting that button. So let's go ahead and Data Magic. Make sure it's spelled properly. Everything stays the same. We don't change anything. So we're going to hit OK. It's working now. Again, writing every day in the chart to the ASCII files. TS Data Magician is at work, so it's done. So just to be on the safe side, let's check our C drive. Let's go to Data Magic. Lo and behold, it's there, the DGP day and the NAK day. Now that creates this folder, this file that's called an attributes file. Now this attributes file is what TradeStation reads to understand what this data is. That is another beautiful thing about Data Magician. It creates this attributes file for you so you don't have to do it by hand. So let's go back here. Okay, now we've got our source data, Data Magic, and we've got a workspace for it. So let's create another workspace. We're going to call this CopperInterMarket. Let's go ahead and format this first. We need copper. We know that. That is the base or data 1 that we'll be utilizing. This is the tradable. And let's go ahead and just use @HG daily, and we're going to go 2 years back to make things simple. You can go back 10 years. But you got to keep in mind, whatever the data source that you're using, it will only go back as far as what these charts are showing. So this is the Data Magic source. We're going to push it into this copper chart. Let's go ahead and save this workspace as MAR Copper Enter Market. Save it. Let's go ahead and insert the 2 data that we need. And I think it goes NAK is the second data and DGP is the third data. So let's go ahead and insert the symbol. Okay, and if you were to type NAK here, let me show you what well, mine will work, but if you had a delayed data versus a real-time data, you get an error message. So if you have real-time data, you could just type NAK, bam, you're done. But we don't have that in case, I do, unfortunately, for this example. So let's go ahead and do a lookup because we need to pull in a third-party data, which is not really third-party. This is actually TradeStation data we just exported. Now what we want to do is we want to add our folder. This is very important. It doesn't know that we have a folder called Data Magic. See, it doesn't know that. So we have to tell it there is a folder called Data Magic that we want to pull data from. So we want to browse for it. Data Magic, there it is. I'm going to put it up there. The ASCII data is going to be located in our C:\Data Magic. It wants a prefix, and I don't exactly understand what this is for. I think if you really want to type in something very quickly without browsing it, you can use this prefix and the symbol, and it will pull it up automatically. Let's just use the symbol, the prefix DAT in this case. I've used ASC and TSC before, so this is kind of a new thing. So let's see if this works. Okay. It pulled in exactly what we needed in that folder. There's 2 files, the DGP and the NAK. And it's in ASCII, C:\Data_Magic, and the prefix is DAT. This is where it's going to put the prefix. So we're going to say, let's do NAK first. That's prompt for format, just to be on the safe side. Probably a good thing to do that, just to make sure it's not trying to pull intraday data. And then you'll get an error message because we exported daily. So it's daily, 2 years back, and it's the NAKDAY_CSV. Okay, there it is. Perfect. It's lined up. Okay, so now let's go ahead and insert our second data, which will be the DGP. Let's look it up again. Third party. We're going to go to our folder where we know it's at, Data Magic. And we're going to put DGP as the third data. Let's plot it. We prompted for format, so it's waiting for us to say everything's good to go. DGP, daily, 2 years back. It's good to go. Let's insert Murray's system. I think it's Copper. I can't remember the exact name, so let's see if it's there. There it is right there. We'll use his original. This is the version fixed that you'll probably have on your computer if you're using this. This is something that I helped Murray with. So let's just go put the original in. Okay, everything looks good. Just see if this is going to work. And lo and behold, there's your trades. Okay, so that was it. What we did, let's go back over the list here. I should have followed it a little bit closer, but here's the list for the Copper Intermarket system. And this will work on any of Murray's systems that require daily data. You just have to make sure you're using the right data. I would always use the same folder for my data. Make things simple. In this case, we called it Data Magic. We want to create a workspace for the source data. Once we create the charts, we want to apply the Data Magician, have the data dumped into our folder. We want to make sure that the inputs are properly set for the Data Magician, that the folder name is the one that's in the input. We want to then create a workspace that will be the receiver. You could look at this as this is the sender of the data. This is the receiver of the data. And then you want to insert Murray's, create the chart and insert the tradable data and the two data 1 and data 2 and data 3. In this case, it was NAK and DGP. And then we want to insert Murray's trading strategy and see if the trades are generated. If you have trades, you have success. Thank you, and I hope you find this useful.